Imagine waking up to the news that football, as we know it, is about to change forever. No more fairy tale underdog stories, no more thrilling league races. Just a handful of elite clubs playing in a closed-off league, immune to competition. That's exactly what almost happened in 2021 with the European Super League, a secretive plot by some of football's most powerful clubs that sent shockwaves through the sport. But what really happened behind the scenes? Who pulled the strings? And why did it all collapse so spectacularly? Let's break it down. Welcome to football, the beautiful game. If you love deep dives into the biggest football conspiracies, subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story like this one. The European Super League, ESL, was officially announced on April 18, 2021. But this wasn't a plan made overnight. The idea had been brewing for decades. In fact, top clubs had been discussing a breakaway league as early as the late 1990s. The idea was simple. Europe's biggest clubs wanted to secure a guaranteed revenue stream, free from the unpredictability of missing out on the Champions League. With more and more money pouring into football, especially from broadcasting rights, the wealthiest clubs wanted to ensure they got the biggest slice of the pie. But how did it come together? The key figures behind the ESL were some of the most powerful men in football. Florentino Pérez, president of Real Madrid, became the face of the project, calling it the only way to save football. Andrea Agnelli, then president of UEFA, betrayed his close ties to UEFA and helped coordinate the move in secrecy. The Glazers, Manchester United, John Henry, Liverpool, and Stan Kroenke saw this as an opportunity to turn European football into an American-style franchise league with no risk of relegation. Meetings were held in secret for months, with club owners and executives plotting how they could pull this off without UEFA or FIFA stopping them. The ESL was supposed to be an untouchable fortress of football's richest clubs. But the moment it was announced, it all started to fall apart. Why? Because they underestimated one thing: the power of football fans. The backlash was instant and furious. Fans took to the streets, chanting against their own clubs. The most iconic protests took place outside Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea supporters physically stopped the team bus from entering the stadium. Manchester United fans stormed Old Trafford in protest, forcing the postponement of their match against Liverpool. Pundits, ex-players, and even managers spoke out. Gary Neville called the ESL a criminal act against football. Jürgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola criticized the idea despite their own clubs being involved. Even UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and French President Emmanuel Macron vowed to fight against it. Under pressure, clubs started pulling out. Within 48 hours, the ESL collapsed. First Chelsea and Manchester City withdrew. Then the rest followed, leaving only Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus clinging to the dream. Now, let's dig deeper into the real motivations behind this breakaway league. On the surface, Pérez and others claimed that the ESL was necessary to save football. But was it really? 1. Financial greed. Football clubs, especially the big ones, were bleeding money due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Matchday revenue had vanished, and even the richest clubs were struggling. Barcelona and Real Madrid were drowning in debt, while Juventus have lost millions on expensive signings like Cristiano Ronaldo. The ESL offered them a way to secure financial stability without relying on UEFA's unpredictable Champions League format. 2. The American influence. Many of the clubs involved, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, are owned by Americans. In the US, sports leagues like the NFL and NBA don't have relegation. Instead, they operate as closed franchises, where owners make money regardless of performance. The Super League was their attempt to bring this model to European football, eliminating the risk of missing out on the Champions League. 3. Power struggle with UEFA. UEFA makes billions from the Champions League, but clubs only get a share of the money. The breakaway clubs wanted full control over broadcasting rights and commercial deals. The Super League was their way of cutting UEFA out of the equation. Had the Super League gone ahead, the football landscape would have changed forever. Domestic leagues would have been devalued. Why watch a Premier League season when the biggest clubs don't care about it? Smaller clubs would have lost their chance to compete at the highest level. And the magic of football, where teams like Leicester City can win the league, or Ajax can stun giants in the Champions League, would have been gone. Financially, the clubs in the Super League would have become richer than ever, but the soul of the sport would have been ripped away. It would have been a disaster for everyone except the billionaires in charge. Though the ESL collapsed in 2021, the battle isn't over. Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus continue to push for a breakaway league, with Florentino Pérez still insisting that football needs saving. Meanwhile, UEFA responded by expanding the Champions League format, introducing a new Swiss model that will add more games and increase revenue for top clubs. But will that be enough to prevent another Super League attempt in the future? The Super League was the biggest threat to football in modern history, but it was stopped because of one thing: the power of the fans. This was proof that no matter how rich or powerful club owners are, football belongs to the people. But make no mistake, this fight isn't over. The next attempt at a breakaway league might be sneakier, more calculated, and harder to stop. What do you think? Will the Super League return in another form? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into football's biggest controversies, subscribe to Football, the beautiful game. Hit that like button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more stories that will change the way you see the sport we all love.